Hello VC, Big Star 1000 with another installment of Revolutions, the spins from the past few days, about 20 records or so. And I must say that this return to video making and sort of it's like a journal of what I've been spinning. It's really good because I get to revisit my collection, and I do play these multiple times before I make the video, so it sort of gets me back into knowing what it sounds like. And I'm not going to say too much about isolation, quarantine, all this. You know, I think if you think things are bad, I think you should read or reread the Diary of Anne Frank. That's all I'll say about the topic. And if you have, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The isolation has spurred some people into action, and it was great to see the return of Jeff Glowing Double O Cabbage. So cool to see you, man. And Andres Sonic Mainliner made a video as well yesterday. That was cool. But Andres has been making videos on and off recently as well, so I don't watch very many videos myself, but I do like the old timers. I've been here on this platform making vinyl videos for over 10 years now, so you know, you have your own favorites, obviously. I'll get started, and I'll start with some Oriental records, and the first record I want to talk about is this soundtrack by Ravi Shankar, Chapaka. Chapaka was a movie, somewhat of a cult movie made by Conrad Brooks, featuring Moondog, Allen Ginsberg and William Burroughs. I've never seen it, but I'm told it's a bit, you know, the music is better than the movie. I don't know, I mean, I can't judge. The interesting story about this movie is that Chapaka was originally soundtracked by Ornette Coleman, but the soundtrack, although very good, was rejected by the director, and then subsequently asked Ravi Shankar to make an alternative soundtrack for the movie. And this was a momentous occasion because it was a meeting between Ravi Shankar and Philip Glass. Phil Glass has always said that it was one of the defining moments of his career, meeting Ravi Shankar, and he knew nothing about Indian music, and it was before the Beatles even met him, and he had to help annotate the music, and because he was clueless with Indian music, it was a very difficult process, but they became friends and lifelong friends, and they made records together. And so yes, there's a bit of Philip Glass in there, not in the music itself, but you know, in the background. So it's a great record. It's a typical Ravi Shankar record, you know, ragas. Really, because I'm a Philistine when it comes to Indian music, you know, one raga to the next. You know, like, unless you've got very trained ears and you know what you're talking about, it's very difficult to know the difference, if you get my drift. Then I pulled that record that I hadn't played for a long time. These are records by Kulthum. Kulthum was the grand lady of Egyptian singing. She was well known throughout the Middle East, from Syria to Egypt to you know, to Lebanon. Everybody knew Kulthum was. Very soaring vocals, very poetic sounding. I don't understand a word she's singing. She was born in the late 1800s and she died, I think, in the 1970s, but she made lots of records with big bands in Cairo. And you know, it's not the kind of music that I can listen to on a daily basis, but it's got a very operatic, kind of uplifting, spiritual quality about it. Not in a sort of spiritual jazz form, but in sort of like, as you can feel that she's elevating herself when she's singing, and they're beautiful records. I couldn't recommend any Kulthum to you because I'm too stupid to do that. But you know, just take a listen on YouTube or something. Those records are good. And then some more Oriental type music. It's a reissue that I picked up a few months ago in a local record shop, Gulistan. It's an East meets West fusion record. So you've got, this was recorded in Vienna in 1986. And so you've got Austrian musicians having a recording session with Turkish musician. And it sounds very sort of, yeah, East meets West. So many S's there. East meets West. I don't know that these three words should be grouped together. And you've got, you know, typical Turkish musical instruments like the jabuka, the 12-string guitar, and mixed with some electric piano. Very funky and very, you know, it's a very groovy record. I very highly recommend this. It's a beautiful reissue. And I continue with some more Euro jazz, and I have revisited this record for the first time in years. This is a Belgian spiritual jazz record, Babs Robert and the Love Planet. Very rare record. This is obviously a reissue. I'm not made of money. Babs Robert plays the sax, the alto sax, the flute, so on and so forth. We're talking a very Coltrane kind of ballpark, Pharoah Sanders, Coltrane. Yes, okay. What can I say? It's a spiritual jazz record. The keys is beautiful on this. Yes, maybe there's a little bit of McCoy Tyner in there as well. Well, Coltrane, but there you go. McCoy Tyner was Coltrane's pianist, after all. Okay, I'll continue with some more Euro jazz. This time we've gone from Austria to Belgium, and now we're going to Denmark. And this is also a reissue of another spiritual jazz heavyweight, the Carsten Meinert Quartet. I don't know if you can see that at the top. I think the name will appear there, Carsten Meinert. And so, again, this is a very, very heavily Coltrane inspired record, made in 1969. This is a killer record, you know, super spiritual. I mean, if you like Coltrane, again, you're in for a treat. This is beautiful. And this time we're moving to Sweden. And so I decided to revisit this great, beautiful sort of modal jazz record. A little bit spiritual, but more modal jazz. And this has also lots of elements of Swedish folk music. I think we're in the motifs and the melodies. My Swedish viewers may feel free to correct me, but I think I'm hearing things that are traditional Swedish in there. This is a Renarama, or probably if a Swede was to say this as a Renarama or something like that. And it's got Palle Danielson and Bobo Stenson of ECM fame on this. This is a killer record, beautiful modal jazz, Swedish record. I've had this for many years, haven't played it for a while. And I'll continue with Sweden. This time it's not a jazz record, it's kind of a psych rock record. This is Pug Rogenfeldt. Pug is a household name in Sweden. The opening track of this, Love Love Love, is well known, sampled by DJ Shadow on Introducing. And what a killer track. This features the translation of the lyrics in English, and some of these lyrics are hilarious. I mean, when you think what they're singing, especially Love Love Love, it's brilliant. If you want to look it up, look it up. Pug, yeah, very well known in Sweden. Great record. from the late 60s, 1969. I'll move to some electronic music, and I decided to give Boards of Canada a spin. Possibly the greatest IDM record ever made. I mean, although could you really call this dance music? It's nothing to dance to, the atmospheres. It's an ambient record. Beautiful textures and inventive to the max. Music as the Writer Children from the duo from Scotland, Boards of Canada. This is a record, in my opinion, everyone should have. 1998 on Warp Records. I mean, there's so many great tracks on this, but you know, try the last track on side two, Roy Vib. It's the rainbow colors, you know, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. I think that's what the word means. That's a great record. More electronic music. This comp on Music from Memory, compiled by John Gomez. Electronic and contemporary music from Brazil, 78 to 92. Great record, really fantastic. Lots of great liner notes, killer songs. And not all is killer, but it's one of these comps where you know you let it run a few times, and some tracks catch your ear more than others. That's a beautiful comp. Music from Memory, Brazilian music from those times. Another electronic record, very different, progressive electronic. This is a French-Canadian, like a Quebec prog record. The band's called Dion Bréjean. I don't know if you'll be able to see that at the top there. Dion Bréjean. And the record is called Et le troisième jour. This is a progressive electronic record from 1976. Fantastic. Sort of part, sort of Tangerine Dream, part Steve Reich. Like there's a lot of pulsating stuff, like in Music for 18 Musicians. Like some parts of it, you listen to it and you just think, am I listening to Steve Reich? Really, really beautiful record from Canada. Amazing. And a segue with some more Quebec prog. And this is an absolute killer record. Toubabou, a band from Montreal. And this was recorded in 1975. And the record is called Attente. And this is kind of a cross between prog and funk and jazz. Searing vocals. What's the girl called? I forgot her name now. You can look it up. But Toubabou with Michel Seguin on congas. Michel Seguin is that's Lise Cousineau is the singer. Yes, indeed. What a ride! This is a ride of a record. It's a bridge between funk and prog and jazz. I mean, really, it's an amazing record. There's not a dull moment on it. There's a track called Fricassé, which is track 3. Okay, well, if you can't understand me right now, just look track 3 of this album. Monster. I'm going to continue with some more prog, and this time it's French prog. This is Dominique Blanc-Francard, French producer, well known. He was the house producer in the Château d'Hérouville. Château d'Hérouville is a studio where a lot of big 70s records were made, in like T-Rex and Elton John records were made there in the 70s. And he was the house producer in the Château d'Hérouville. And this is kind of an interesting record. You don't need it at all. If you don't understand French, it's probably not worth your time. It's not groundbreaking, but it's got some really nice psych guitar playing on it. It's got choirs. It's like, you know, full blown prog. but kind of with more of a psychedelic edge. Ailleurs by it's on Riviera Barclay, and I think it's an original pressing. I think some soul music now. This is a revisit, a long time revisit. This is Milton Wright. Milton Wright was well, he's still alive. He's a retired judge now in the Boston area, you know. And he made this one, well, I think he made more than one record, but this one, there's an interesting story where the master tapes were lost and the original master tapes don't exist anymore, something along those lines. He came from Michigan or Massachusetts maybe, and got this record deal in Miami and therefore set up shop in Miami as a singer. Here he is. And if you like Bill Withers, you know, this is a more maybe funky version of Bill Withers. Also a bit like, who comes to mind? Name is completely, Terry Callier, that's it. I was thinking of somebody else, but kind of, yeah, more with a more funky kind of a edge. Really like this record. Beautiful. The first song, "The Silence That You Keep," is a good example of what to expect. And then, since I was on the soul tip, I've always got space for Sade. Promise. I love this record. It may be my favorite Sade record. I don't know. I mean, it's melancholy. It's sad. There's something, the quality. There's a tremendous British quality that seeps through this music. I think you have to be English to feel that kind of melancholy, if you will. I think without this record there wouldn't be Massive Attack, for example. That's just an opinion. And I'll finish with some jazz records. Here is a record that I haven't played for ages. I bought this in New York when I met Mike and Tony. Mary Lou Williams, Zoning. Fantastic. I mean, people talk about Black Christ of the Andes. This is a better record, hands down. In my opinion, is a better record. Just a beautiful spiritual jazz record. The vocals are it's killer. I mean, you know, from 1974, fantastic. It was a comp. Theo Parrish, I think he's a Detroit DJ, correct me if I'm wrong, and he's compiled black jazz records, you know, Doug Kahn and Gene Russell and Calvin Keys. I mean, if you're familiar with black jazz, you'll know exactly. Black jazz was a label which is very, very highly collectible. I wonder, was it a Detroit label as well? I don't know. I'm too stupid. See, but this is a great comp, and I really quite like Doug Kahn and people like Walter Bishop Jr. and so, you know, love this. I'm obsessed with Blue Note at the moment. Obsessed with Blue Note. I'm rereading the book. The Uncompromising Expression, which is just on my coffee table there, and as a result I'm pulling out all this Blue Note stuff. Sam Rivers, more to come in the next installment. Fuchsia Swing Song, his first album on Blue Note, killer lineup. Jackie Byard on piano, Ron Carter on bass, and Tony Williams on drums. What to say? I mean, you know, hard bop extravaganza, brilliant. And since I'm on Blue Notes, the other Blue Note records that I've been playing, this is killer. Donald Byrd, New Perspective, very, very spiritual, lots of choir, beautiful record. And this 2-volume Ornette Coleman at the Golden Circle, fantastic. What a great set of songs. A Japanese jazz record, Terusama Hino with Hinology. Yeah, a very Miles Davis type of record. very Miles. In fact, you can see even that is Miles, like Miles. If you like Miles Davis, if you like Electric Miles, get this. It's brilliant. It's a Japanese jazz record from the 70s, 1969. So you probably heard In a Silent Way and went, oh, I want to make that too. You've got two more records there. Two more records. The first one, the second last one, the penultimate record on this video is a record by a group consisting of Charles Tolliver and Stanley Cowell, who are the founders of Strata East, and Ron Matheson and Alvin Queen. This is Music Inc. I've got pretty much almost every record on the music, under the Music Inc. The great record. Most of the others are on Strata East. This is great avant-garde jazz. It's got even a cover of another version of Brilliant Circles by Stanley Cowell. Stanley Cowell's solo album Brilliant Circles is well worth checking out. It's great. It's a live record. And the last one, last but not least, is Monk. This is an original Riverside, UK Riverside record of Bryn Corns. One of his best albums, easily, hands down, one of his best records. With Sonny Rollins and Clark Terry. Look at this. What a lineup. What a lineup. Brilliant. Also Max Roach is on drums on this. Fantastic, beautiful record. Okay, that's all I've got for you today. Leave me some comments, talk to me. Love you all. See you next time.